Hey friends, it's Jenny, and I have my GGC treasure bags. As you can see, I got both colorways this time. So this is Gina's Gem Creations. She does a treasure bag every roughly 2 months. It is not a subscription. It is a curated bag that is available bi-monthly, and the best way to know when these new bags are dropping is to sign up for the newsletter to be notified. I'm going to have a link to where you can find the treasure bags. That's also the same place where if they are sold out, you can sign up for notifications. Sign up for notifications anyway. But I checked before filming this video. These just arrived today. I've seen Gina's reveal, which she revealed on the day that they became available. So this is not a surprise. There are pictures on the website, but there are also spoiler pictures on the items themselves. So if you order this and prefer to just open the goodie bag and be surprised by the contents, then go ahead and pause this video and save it for later until you get your bag. But if you want to see what's in it, like I said, it's already been revealed on Gina's YouTube channel, and there are pictures. The second picture on the listing is a picture of all the contents. So the first picture is the spoiler-free version, like this, where you just know what the theme is, and you might see a few items listed in the description, but you don't actually see pictures. So this is your warning. If you don't want to see what's in this box or in these treasure bags yet, go ahead and save this video for later and come back to it when you're ready. If you want to go ahead and get into this and see what we've got, then I am ready. So I decided to get both colorways this time. The last time I did 2 colorways, I ended up storing it in a combination of our favorite 15 grid organizer for the beads of the second colorway, but because these are such generous goodie bags, it is really difficult to fit one in just a 15 grid organizer, especially with some of the larger scale focals that are in here. And so what I did last time, and it was the summer fun one that I got to, I used an 18 grid organizer for one colorway plus the metals, and then the beads of the other colorway in the other one. So I would just use them together like this. So that's probably what I'm gonna do. I have my boxes ready, I've got my bags ready, and I am going to open them at the same time. So I'm gonna compare because they're equivalent. There's going to be, when there's a strand of beads for the cool collection, there's going to be a similar strand of beads for the warm collection, different color. There's a few selections that are actually different appearance, but for the most part, it's going to be, you know, just different colorways of the same beads and metal components. And this one does have a lot of great metal components. In fact, these are heavy because of all of the quality things inside them. So, let's get to it. I'm gonna pause and get my baggies out so that we're ready to get into them. Okay, so just kind of to run through this really quick, I've got packing lists for the cool collection and the warm collection. They're mostly going to be the same with just a few descriptions that are different, but I want to show you my favorite part. At the bottom of both of these packing lists, we have Gina's note about the metals. All metals are cadmium, lead, and nickel free. And if you're new to the channel, I have a metal allergy. It is primarily a nickel allergy. And so knowing that these metals in these last 2 packs, the pendant pack and the findings pack, are all safe for me to use is really important. So it's one of the things that I love about the GGC treasure bags is that I can literally use the whole thing. I don't have to get a box and then have to run tests to try to figure out if certain items are nickel free or not, maybe having to pass on items that aren't gonna work for me. I know I can use them all, and that makes me really happy. So I'm gonna set these packing lists aside on each side. I've got the warm over here on this side and the cool on this side. And then I've got my boxes. They're up on a shelf above me, and I'll pull them down as we put things in, because on our channel, Becky and I like to do, just checking, there we go. Having a little bit of difficulty. I will be right back. I couldn't adjust my my brightness while the app was active. And I do have some kind of odd shadows going on right now, and I'm hoping that they're not actually going to be in the video. I will check that on editing, and if necessary, brighten up this video for all of you. But I wanted to, oh yes, Becky and I, as cute as those organza bags are and as convenient as these pouches, this is how she packs them now. So there's like a strand pack, a loose bead pack, pendant pack, and a findings pack. These are very handy. Becky and I both love to see the beads spread out before us. I stare at my beads when I'm trying to figure out what I want to make with them. And so putting them in an organizer like this, and we like these ones because they have, they're customizable. You can pull out some of the little dividers and make larger sections, for example. And this one fits most of our subscription boxes perfectly. This is our favorite 15 grid organizer. That link will be in the description. Sometimes we have a collection that has either much longer strands of large beads, and so they don't fit as easily in these smaller ones, and we'll use the 18 grid organizer, not only because it has the additional 3 grids, but also because they're deeper wells. So you can fit more beads in each one, which is why this is a great solution for the GGC treasure bags. But I will be, especially with some of these larger, I mean, look at how big this is. We'll get to it. We're going to try to fit as much as we can in this. I would like to fit my second collection, like I said, the beads themselves in the smaller box, but I do have another larger box if I need to change my mind later. So that's the spiel. But this is something that we do on our channel. We don't just show you the beads. We do show you the beads, but we don't just show you the beads. We also show you how we organize them into our little organizers. And it's kind of a little bit of a bead sorting, little bit of ASMR goes on because you hear all the beads, you know, click into the organizer. So it's just a different vibe. It's a different style of unboxing. Ours is always an organizing video. So here is organizing the GGC treasure bags, seasonal tones in both the cool and the warm colors. So let's start with our strand packs. Inside the strand pack, there is an additional pack that has some of the more delicate crystals. So there's a pack in a pack. Pull out a couple of those, but then most of these are going to be strands like this. So there's this one kind of dumped out, and there's this one. I'm going to set this up just for a minute. I'll reach up and get it when I need it, which will be soon, but let's get into this. And we've got the same situation here where there's some of these crystals are in their little packages, and that's just to help protect them as well as to protect the other beads in the pack. Because crystals, when they're cut, they can be a little bit sharp sometimes, so you don't want them banging around too much. So we've got our strand packs here. Move those baggies off to the side, and let's start with the cool one. Okay, so it's these, which is good. They're the largest beads, so they're the ones that I like to put in first and see how much space they're taking. So this is the gold capped electroplated faceted glass beads. They're 8mm rounds, and this is an 11.5-inch strand, and these ones are in the deep blue, and these ones are warm orange. And they really do read as more of like an amber color. I have a little dish that is hidden under one of my packing slips. Well, not packing slips, item lists. But I can show you a better view of the colors themselves. I absolutely adore this deep blue. It reminds me a lot of the check glass color Capri Blue, but it is a little bit cooler in tone. And I love it. And then this is the warm orange, which, like I said, it reads a little bit more like a topaz or an amber tone. So first test is, let's see if how this strand fits in the smaller organizer. Because like I said, they are the largest of the beads. My guess is with them being 8mm and this size of a strand, I might need to drop this wall and go into a second section. But if I can make them fit, oh, it's really close, friends. Oh my gosh. Okay. Okay. So this is good. This is hopeful for being able to use this for my second colorway, at least as far as the beads go. I think my crystals might need a second section, but these fit just right in there. And then in the 18 grid organizer, because I know I will need it for some of these larger metal components anyway, we'll use it for our blue guy. And I could show you, I should have done. I showed you the strands against the dish, but sometimes it looks a little bit different if you just have the loose beads without the strand. So there's those. And these. Anybody who is a longtime follower of the channel, or at least been following since this last summer, knows that I am a sucker for blues. Blues are my jam. It's the moodier the better, but I love any blue. I love blues, greens, grays. I considered just getting the cool collection, but I did that on the last one. I got the sophisticated, which was more of the grays and whatnot. And just so you can see, this is the same size strand. And yes, I know I'm off screen because the container is off screen. Give me just a minute. Just snipping this so I can get this last bead. No beads left behind, right? So this is the same size strand, and you can see how they fit differently in those wells. See, this one is full to the brim, and this one has some more room. So if I need to, I can put some of my additional metal components and things, like rest them on top of it. But that's probably the one that's going to take the most space. We'll see what's next. Let's do these. Looks like it's the column mixes that are next. These are very long, guys. Oh my gosh, this is, okay, so this is an 18.5-inch strand of these glass faceted columns. They're 7 by 3.5 millimeters, and this is the blue mix. And it's just electroplated, faceted glass beads. And this is the sandy brown mix. And it's got some light peach and crystal clear, and just to see the two of those together so you can contrast, these are the two different strands. Love it. These are going to be fun. Elongated beads are a great way to create space between larger beads, or I like to do like groupings of beads. And so having longer beads kind of gives you space between those groupings. It's just really fun. But this is a very, very long strand. There's plenty of these beads to work with. Speaking of working with these, if you're not already following Gina's YouTube channel, it will also be listed. I think it's a GGC beginning beaders, something like that. She will have tutorials listed on her channel using these collections. She will often show it made with either, she'll show both versions, so you can see what the design looks like with the cool version and the warm version. I wonder if this one will coil up. Okay, so since this is a little bit larger well, and I have the room for it, I'm just coiling this strand into this spot. So I'm treating that a little bit differently because of the way it fits. This is a smaller size square, and so it wouldn't have coiled as easy, but that's a little bit of a difference on how I do things differently, depending on the size of the well that I'm putting on. I'll probably end up taking that off its strand, but I'm not sure if we're going to need to do some roommate situations, and if something is already on a strand, it's a lot easier to roommate it with things. Okay, and then we've got twist. These guys. Okay, yes, this is a perfect example. So this is one of the shorter strands. It is 7.5-inch strand, and they're 7 by 4.5 millimeter twist beads. This is the cool mix. And this is the warm mix. So you can see both of those together. And they are going to do a lot better since the smaller number of beads, they don't need a whole big well to themselves, especially in that larger organizer, the 18 grid. So what I'll do is I've got these columns here and I've just coiled up my twists and I've just nestled them down in with them. So you can see both the twists and the columns, and they take up one space. And I'm actually going to do the same thing here. These are the loose columns, and I'm just going to twist up. Hopefully it's got enough give in the strand. Oh, maybe not. Let's see if I can get it to fit. If the beads are on too tight, you can't do this bit, but I'm going to try. I'm snipping off a little of this excess wire or stringing stuff on there. So in this case, you've got the twist coiled around the outside, but then you can still see the columns underneath. So again, I can see all of those beads. If I don't need the room for roommates, then I'll move it over into its own. But for now, let's do that because we've got some stuff coming up that is going to take some more space. Let's see. Is this? Nope, these are the ovals. Okay. Yes, this is the oval. These are, it's a 12-inch strand of 6 by 2.5 millimeter oval in steel blue. I love steel blue. I absolutely love steel blue. And the warm version of that is in the Peru color. And I can tell right now that these are on that pokey stringing material. One of the things about Gina is that she doesn't subdivide these beads when they come in. So this is the stringing material that it came on directly from the manufacturer. That's why we get such nice, big, generous strands. She doesn't subdivide the beads, but it does mean sometimes we have the less than fun stringing material like these. Everybody knows. Everybody knows. So while this is a small strand with very small beads, I am actually going to change my mind about who's roommating with who, because I am going to remove this stringing material just because it can be a bit pokey. And I'm putting them in a square currently by themselves, but I'm going to take those twists that I got and I am going to put them in with them because they'll fit a little bit better than they do with the columns, just because of the size and number of beads. So changing my mind, putting these ovals in here, removing the offending stringing material so I don't forget later and go in and reach to use it and be like, ah, and get stabbed. Yeah, Becky will appreciate that. Ah. She has actually made that sound. She recently had one like stick into her finger. Like she held it up to the camera and it was still in her finger. Yeah, so that is a little bit better roommate situation for these guys. And I'm going to do the same here. So I'm going to go ahead and, whoops, my column beads are still on a strand on their own. And these guys are going to go down here into the next one, so they're ready to roommate with these little ovals. They're really pretty though. I love these oval shapes. And they're just such a soft little delicate crystal look to them. You need bold beads, but you also sometimes need just soft beads to let your eye rest. So that's those guys together. Okay. Okay, continuing on, we have a 15.5-inch strand of cube. I think that's these guys. Okay, we're gonna set aside some of these other strands because these are these ones. They are 5 millimeter cubes. This one is steel blue. Oh my gosh, the sparkle, guys. Look at that sparkle. I love it. I love it. And then this other one, this one you may get a different color. So this one is either going to be, oh, I've got a few loose beads. Okay. Oh, I had one break. That's sad. It's only one though. Only one of them broke from my this is the Peru color. You might also get golden. So there weren't quite enough to have everybody get the same color. This is the color that most will get, but you might have got a slightly different colored cube bead, and that's okay. Here they are together, being sparkly and gorgeous. See, these are two different colorways, but I have a design idea that's going to be coming up soon. And you can see that in a lot of ways, they can also play really well together. So I'm definitely getting these cubes open. Just making sure that these other ones that weren't loose didn't get broken. Nope, just the one broken bead. Just one. All right. And these are, it's a nice long strand. Guys, this is a 15.5-inch strand. Yes. And I'm hoping that with this size, they fit nicely in one of these containers, and I think they will. I don't think I'll need to put down a wall for this one. Some other ones, though, maybe. Like when I get to these lantern ones, I think she calls them pumpkin, but they're a pumpkin / lantern shape. I've seen it described both ways. One of my favorite crystal shapes. So we've got our cubes here. And we've got our cubes going into the big guy. And I am not 100% sure. I think that I'll be doing a design at the end of this unboxing, so make sure that you stick around for it. Right now I'm focused on getting the beads out and putting them places. But that is one of the things that Becky and I are trying to do this month, is anytime we open something, and this definitely counts as opening something, we're going to do a little design on the fly using some of what we just opened. So I hopefully will be doing that soon. Here we are with the cube beads. And I think the next one is actually, nope, 20, oh, the coins. Oh, the coins, friends. Okay. Yeah, the coins are next. So this is rainbow blue, and you can see that AB on them. They're like half plated. Yeah, they're half plated. So it's just on one side, but they've got that AB that gives them that rainbow disco feel. Look at how fun that is. So that is rainbow blue. They're 3 by 6 millimeter coins. So 3 deep, 6 diameter. And they're 20-inch strands. 20-inch strands. This one is golden burly wood is the color for these, and they've got that half AB on them as well. I think I have one broken bead here. It's just a little bit chipped, so I'll make sure I separate that when I'm pulling it off the strand. Let's see if these guys will fit. I hope they do. I'm just snipping right here where I know that there's that broken one, and I've got beads trying to escape. I always have beads trying to escape. That's another thing that is definitely on brand for Jenny. All right. Oh, whoops. That was putting the broken one in there. Get that back out. I very rarely see broken beads, so it's not something that happens often. It's just not typically been my experience with GGC, but I've heard a lot of people have had some rough treatment in their shipping lately, and I think it might be that time of year, you know, as people start to ramp up for the holidays. Let's see if we can get these. In fact, I'm gonna do this because it'll be faster. Pulling these guys off the strand onto my mat. And grabbing my bead scoop. Gosh, look how cool these are. I think I didn't show you. So these are the cubes. I forgot, sorry. These are the steel blue cubes as well. Aren't they pretty? Oh my gosh. And then these are the coins. We looked at them on the strand, but here they are. And when I get those blue ones off their strand, I'll show you that one as well. And then I'm just fumbling beads everywhere. Guys, tell me I don't need to hurry, because I'm trying to hurry. I get in my head about these things. I do. I get in my head about these things, and sometimes you just need to stop and take a breath. And look how beautiful those are in there. Oh, and see how well it fits. Like I said, there's a lot of the metals I won't be able to fit in the smaller box. That's why this is like, if I just got the one colorway, I would 100% just be doing the 18 grit organizer. But since I can share some of that space, I think this is turning out really good for the for doing the two colorways. So getting these off onto my mat. Oh, I do have two more of these. I will need to pull them. Oh, that one I did get off the strand. Because, you know, no beads left behind and all that. Okay, but look at these beads. I moved my dish over here so that we can make sure we did this. And some of them are the AB side up. So it's as they tilt in the light that you'll see that AB flash. Yeah, just like that. Get my blue box down here for putting these in. There is a little bit of bumbling back and forth because I did do the two colorways. I still have no regrets. There are no regrets. I'm happy that I got both collections because they're beautiful, and I gravitate towards the cool, but I need to challenge myself, which is why I also got the warm, because I think there's a lot that I can do with it. It might not be my go-to style, but that is part of why I am doing this on our channel, is to challenge myself and to grow as an artist, as a designer. And we won't do that if we don't push ourselves outside of our comfort zones, at least a little bit. But look at how beautiful these are. I love these. I love these so much. Now I am getting, this is the 5th out of the 6 across that this container does. And unlike the small one, you can remove like the whole length of the one that goes here, but the individual ones are actually these ones, these smaller ones. So I'm going to leave this side for removing those barriers and putting some more things that might otherwise fit awkwardly. They'll be more on this side in this container. You'll see what I mean when we get to it, but that's why after I put these in, I'm going to move down to my next row. I'm not doing anything in this spot yet because I think that I will need it later. All right, we have more beads to look at. Okay, so now that we did the coins, okay, now we're doing the pumpkins. So these are pumpkin shaped. I have seen this similarly called like a lantern shape. I like both. I think these are a little bit squatter than I think of for lanterns. That might be what makes them pumpkin instead. But they have gorgeous faceting. This one is powder blue. Definitely reads the same tone as that steel blue that I love. And this one is, let's see, antique white. And it's just this kind of really warm, light taupey color is this one. They are 18.5-inch strands. They're also on that string material, and honestly, I wouldn't just coil these up anyway because they are plenty big. But let's get this in here. This is one where I think I'm going to need to take this down because these, guys, these are 8 by 6 and it's 18.5 inches. It is not gonna fit. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take one of these down, tuck it underneath, because I reuse my boxes. When I finish a collection and I incorporate what's left over into my stash, I'll reuse boxes. And so keeping that divider is important because as the quantities shift around as I use it, I can do more with it. But this is definitely one where I was planning on taking more space. What I don't know is if it will fit in one of the wells on its own in the larger organizer. I don't know if it will. But you can see how full this is. There's no way I could have done this in just one well. Like, I'm gonna lift it up and then tilt it so you can see how much space is at the top. Like maybe one more layer of beads could have fit in there. Loving, loving, loving that. And then we've got the steel blue to put in here. I keep forgetting to put them against the dish. I'm sorry. And then I've already got some of these out here, but I feel like you can see those pretty well, but let's look at the shape a little bit more clearly. They are octagonal. Again, that's probably the pumpkin shape. They're octagonal. And super, super crystally fun. I love the crystals that Gina picks because they all have so much sparkle and are so much fun as a result of that. So yeah, these are definitely one of my favorite aspects of these boxes is the crystals. They're technically electroplated glass beads. They are glass, but they're crystal cut glass and super sparkly. And just a few of those close up. And yes, they did fit in one segment. And that just shows you how much difference the different space you have. So really choosing which box to use does depend a lot on the collections that you're putting in it. The size of the beads and the quantities, all those kinds of things do play a role. So we're still doing our strand pack. This is going to be a little bit of a long organizing video. I hope you don't mind. I am doing 2 at the same time, and I wanted to get both of them shown and both of them organized because then I will use them. If I turn off this camera and I haven't organized both of them, I might not get around to it right away, which means I won't be getting inspired by it. So there is a reason I do what I do. All right, these are, gotta be this ones. Yes. So this is a 13-inch strand of 4mm round cornflower blue, translucent, faceted crystal beads. And the worm is moccasin, is the description for that color as moccasin. And these ones being 4mm is usually about my limit where I'm like, okay, I will keep this on the strand until I'm ready to work with it. Sometimes it'll go in a off the strand, but these are just the plastic material instead of the pokey wire, and so they're really going to be easy to coil up and remain in one of these areas where we have more space. Now this one, like I said, these are smaller wells, so we might not have as much space for it. In fact, I'm not really loving cramming it in there with anything, so it's going to be coiled up, but in its own little spot, because that's what's going to fit better here. This one, because I'm also going to be putting all the metals from both sets in here, this one I did go ahead and do that because I do have plenty of space in these, some of these containers. And then we've got, this is on the pokey material. So this is 4mm, but I am going to take it off because it's on this stuff. but this is half luster, steel blue, imitation jade. And this one is opaque peach. So steel blue and opaque peach. Both of them are half luster, imitation jade. And I've got this one out right now. I'm trying to decide, maybe I'm going to put it in with these because this is still on a strand. I took it off the strand on the other side of things, on the warm side, because they're really not going to take up much space on their own, and I'm not sure how much else I am going to have that I'm going to want to put in with it. So I might put these down here with these columns. So you've got the columns swirled around on the outside. We've got the imitation jade just piled up there in the middle. The idea is to be able to see all of my design choices when I work with them. And if I want to get these jade out, it's really simple. All I have to do is remove that strand and tuck it back in after. So that's how I want to do that one. And this one, I think I'm going to do the same thing, but this, remember I kept this coiled up, but it gave it its own spot. It's going to roommate now. It's going to roommate with these, the imitation jade. And I'm just going to get this out onto my mat. It's a little bit easier than dealing with that wire for long. So there we go. I'm definitely going to have to carefully clean up all of my loose wires after this video is over. I'm not doing that while I'm on camera with you, but look at how pretty they are. They're so pretty. One of them went into my other spot, but I rescued it. There we go. And you can still see both of our 4mm options right there. One semi-translucent and the other one translucent. Different materials, but yeah, super cute. Okay, I'm doing really good, guys. I'm doing really good getting this stuff to fit. So let's move on. We've got one strand each left over. These are 6 by 6.5mm discs. Opaque white, or 6 to 6.5mm probably. There's some variation. Yeah. Some very minor variation. Smooth glass beads. It's a 15-inch strand. Very similar to a heishi, slightly thicker. Really fun to stack in your designs as well. And this one is the opaque old lace. It's a very nice peachy color. It is more peachy in person than it currently looks on my preview, but you can see it against the white, rather cream colored. So that's a cream colored plate, and you can see how bright white this is and how peachy this is when you can compare both of them against that kind of not really aged porcelain, but not a pure white porcelain behind with the ladybug dish. So that should give you an idea. This is another one that I think will not fit on its own in one of these sections. So I'm going to take this down and put them in. I'm almost certain that that's only going to fit one, because this is a 15-inch strand, guys. They're pretty big. If I'm wrong, I can always scoot the beads and get that wall put back up. But so far, I'm thinking this was a good move. It doesn't get quite as full as these crystals that we put in over here, but definitely more full than one side would accommodate. And that's okay, because I might choose to put some of the metal components with it. As many of the warm metal components as will fit in this box, I will fit in this box. The overflow will go into the bigger one. Because of those bigger wells, we still have a lot of space in here. And we're about to go into our loose beads pack. which includes some AAA grade crystals. So I'm gonna see if these will fit. I think they will, since these ones did, these pumpkin crystals, and this actually took up a little bit less space than the crystals in the smaller box. These ones are all gonna fit in here just fine. Oh yeah, pretty easily. So we have that going on. Hang on just a moment. Okay, so I'm back. That was a little bit trippy because my front door just randomly opened. And it was like 5 minutes after 3, which is funny because I needed to place an order at 3 o'clock. And so it was like the wind, or a ghost masquerading as the wind, pushed my door open so that I would get up and pause and run and go place that order. So I closed the door, latched it, and placed my order, and now I'm back. And this is good timing because we are transitioning to our loose bead packs. And these are going to be a lot of fun. A bunch of these are going to end up roommating in the larger one just because of the size and quantities of the beads. They don't need a whole well all to themselves. But you can see we've got some fun things going on with our loose bead packs. So the first thing that we're going to look at is these handmade Indonesian beads. And the note does say that all metal is, you know, cadmium, lead, and nickel free. And so I'm assuming that that also applies to this bead. This is the one for the cool, and it's listed as white. This is the one that is for the warm, and it is beige. You might also get a very light tan, which is actually really pretty. Gina showed it on her reveal, which I'll have a link to below for you guys. It's a really light tan color, and you get more of a contrast between the embellishments and the polymer clay bead. So that's actually pretty cool. So these guys are going to go in here, and in my smaller organizer that should fit, I like to put a lot of like the unique shapes, especially if they don't need a whole lot of space. They don't need to be deep in this front one because it's where the latch clicks. And in this one, it's going to go into, again, where the latch clicks. And then we're going to put some of these other stuff with them. Then we've got, yes, okay, so these ones will be after. So in this little baggie, there's 10 each of the white and blue rhombus pattern. It kind of reminds me of like a basket weave, you know, like an expanding basket shape. In fact, I've got packing material that does this, but it's pink. But that's what it makes me think of. It's like trellises and baskets and that kind of thing. But that's the blue and white, and there's 10 of those guys. And then there's 10 of these. These are transparent with a silver leaf pattern on them. That looks like a maple leaf to me. My Canadian friends, can you confirm? Yes, that looks like a traditional like maple leaf. And they're really pretty in the silver, in kind of a gray. So like against a gray bead. So I think those are really pretty. And I'm just going to put them in with the polymer clay bead, if they don't just spill everywhere. Let me fix some of this. But I'm going to stir them around and make sure that I can see, because I put in the leaf beads first. I want to see all of the beads. When I'm looking in here and thinking of designing, I want to know what's in here. So I can see all those. This one, they're going to be in the spot next to it because they're not going to fit that well with this, but I'm going to put all of these together in that spot. And it has gold and white. I think it's listed as gold and white. Oh, gold and bronze for these rhombus ones. Turn one to its side so you can see it's that same pattern. also 10 of those. And then there's 10 of these leaves. Again, kind of a transparent gray, but with a little golden bronze leaf electroplated on there. And again, it's that same little maple leaf pattern. And I lost a bead. Let's see if that's easy to retrieve or not. I heard it bounce a couple of times. I just don't want to run over it with my chair. I will have to find that bead later. It's one of the leaf beads, so I know I want it. I mean, I want all of them, but that's those round beads together. And then also in our loose beads pack, this is the AAA grade crystal pack. And yes, here's the warm tones. And here is the blue tones, or the cool tones. So you can see they're very similar, but they're a little bit different. The leaves that we got in one were not exactly translatable to the other. So we each got 6 leaves for each color direction. And they are both kind of an ombre leaf. So here's this one with like the gold luster on it. Smooth on the back, etched on the front. And then you've got your blue ones, and they're the same. So here where it's curled up, that's actually the back. If it's like this, that's actually the back. This is the front. This is where it's the shape is. But they've got both, they both have kind of an ombre effect to them. Golden leaf pendants, two-tone glass. They're all two-tone. It's a good way to put it. Put our leaves there. And then these ones, there are 6 of each. There's 2 different shapes here. Let me see if I can divide them up. Yes, so that's kind of a polygon twist, so that I can show you separately. So there's 6 of each. They're very similar in tone. They're both the cornflower blue. This one is the round faceted, and the other one says that it is polygon. But let me show you the difference. So this is the one. Take off the ones that aren't like it. And then this is the other shape. See how it's got this kind of twist to it? Yeah. So I don't know which one is supposed to be the polygon and which the round. I'm guessing this is the polygon because it's got the more unique shape. But there are 6 of those guys. There's a very slight color difference between the two, and distinct shape as well. And then same thing for the warm tones. These are, yep, there we go. 6 of the polygon ones. And these are listed as dark goldenrod is the color. So this is dark goldenrod. Those are the ones that have that twist pattern to them. And then these that are more geometric in its faceting. So we've got those. I'm putting them together here. And then here in this blue one, I'm going to go ahead and put my leaves because they are smaller. They don't need their own section. I'm going to just put this whole crystal pack in this spot here. And we're about to get into the metals. So this is all of the warm or the cool glass crystal decorative beads. And these are all of the warm ones. See how much more space it takes in the smaller container? This is why we're going to need the larger container to handle some of our metal overflow. Because next we have our pendant packs. So here's the warm pendant pack. And here's the cool pendant pack. And I love that the cool pendant pack is really bright silvers, that it's mostly bright and not like an antique silver. So I like that. And I also like that this is an antique bronze instead of gold for the warm. I like having some different metal tones for that. So I think that's exciting. I'm going to go ahead and open these up, fill them out here. Some of these metals will go into the small box, but I'm leaving my big box down because honestly, I don't even know if some of these things are even going to fit in my big box. They're very big. And it was funny. I watched Gina's reveal, and definitely go watch it. There's going to be more snippets than what I'm sharing with you now, but all of these were larger than she expected to be. But she also thought they would make some very beautiful ornaments. So you can make some ornaments for yourself to use, to give as gifts, or to sell if you do a holiday booth and you want to make some ornaments. These would make some fantastic ornaments if you don't want to use it for a very bold necklace. You can absolutely use these for a bold necklace, but you don't have to. I might need to move these. I'm actually looking at the configuration of my box. If I move these guys, in fact, I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to show you how I can open up a very large section of this organizer to hold these bigger pieces. So I'm just moving my coin beads. Because I'm pretty sure that just taking out one divider is not going to be enough to make it fit. I'm going to test that because the more divided this is, the better organized I can be. And they're 4mm roommates. Tuck those here. So if I take out one of these, and I should actually let's actually do that. This is the first. Let's see. Wait a minute. One of these, you might get a star or heart. Filigree star or heart. No, this is the bold heart pendant. This is the one that's on the last. I'm like, these aren't the ones. These are the ones, these little lockets that they might have gotten substituted. I got stars on both of them. But if there weren't enough stars for you, you might have gotten a heart in place of these. So they're a filigree locket. They open like this and then hang from here. So they'll hinge will have them go down. So if you're open while wearing, you've still got that pretty filigree showing on the other side. So these are the ones that are, you might not have got these. And there's one in the silver and the other one in the antique bronze. So these ones will actually fit pretty nicely in the boxes. I'm not too worried about those. These ones are the bold heart pendants. Again, because they are so big. And see, this won't fit even with this section down here. But one thing you can do with this size organizer is you can also take out this. So now suddenly I have a very large place where I can put these big focals. And that is exactly what I'm going to do. In fact, there's these as well. These are the fancy filigree heart pendants, the silver tone and the antique bronze. And I'm just going to tuck them like underneath their coordinating piece because then they all fit nicely in this spot. Okay. Any other large items I may also put in here. Otherwise, I'm going to be using these containers or nesting them in with other things. I'm probably going to go ahead and put these. They will fit, but again, this is already pretty full with just the beads. I'm going to do some of the findings in with that rather than these focals. And then we have these. These are lockets. This one is the oval locket. It's just listed as both, just the two different colors, antique bronze and the silver tone brass. And these ones open on the side as such. So we've got all of our big pendants and focals here in this one large six wells to get this space, but we were able to do that. And then we have things that are like starting to be more higher quantity, and I'm going to want to contain a little bit better. So that's what I'm going to do with these. We've got these heart charms. There's 12 in each color, actually quite a few of these. You can use them on bracelets, hang them from different parts of like a necklace or as the focal on a necklace, earrings. There's a whole bunch and you'll have a lot to work with. There are 12 of those for each color. And I'm going to put these 12 in with my Indonesian bead. I think I dropped one somewhere. Ah, there it is. Because there is room in there and I'm going to want this room for some other things. But that actually fits pretty good there. And I've got a start here on some of my silver tone findings. So that is the pendant pack. And then we have the findings pack and some very generous quantities on these findings. Some of them are bigger though, so they're going to go in this bigger container rather than the smaller one. I'm moving aside my little dividers. I didn't tuck them underneath. I'll do that later. But we've got, in fact, some of these I may even keep in their little baggies because they're going to be much easier to contain. But also some of them, like especially these column beads, they're going to be, or hollow tubes, bead tubes. They're going to be in here with these big guys just because they are so big. So there's 10 sets of this silver tone alloy clasp. They're 1/2 inch of the 2 different colors. They're not really big, which is actually great for me. I'm going to go ahead and put them, let's see, where do I want to put them? I'm going to start stacking them here. So we've got the antique bronze and the silver. They're going to occupy some of the same space. I'm also probably going to put the chain in with these guys, so they'll all be in the same spot together. And then we've got, let's see, 10. Okay, these are the larger guys. So there's 10 of these, and they're these tubes that have this floral pattern. Let's see. Get them on my dish so you can see the details. My other things are trying to stick inside. That's fine. You can just pull them out if they've nestled in a little bit. But they've got this really pretty flower pattern on them. And it looks like the flower does repeat once. So it's once on each side so that it goes all the way around. That pattern does. These are big enough that I am not going to be able to put their antique bronze friends in their own container. That's just not going to happen, as you can see. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just kind of shift a couple of these pendants and make space right here to pile those in, but so they're not covering. Oh, I'm already covering a pendant, aren't I? See, they're so big. There's a lot. There's a lot. Oh, but this is trying to eat some. Oh, I put the whole pack in there, didn't I? I put the whole pack, including something that doesn't go there. Hold on. Let me fix this. That's Jenny getting in a hurry again. Slow down, Jen. Breathe. Because these are little bail beads and are going to be really fun for attaching things like maybe those hearts or something else in the design. All right, so we've got our little ones over here. I want to see this flower poking out. Okay, and then I put these larger ones here because these ones I want to put, I do have room right here. So I'm going to go ahead and put them, yeah, I'll put them in here. And the silver ones I'm going to put in with the hearts because I've got plenty of room there and I can still see the hearts and those bail beads. But this is what that other item is. And there's 12 of those as well, 10 of those. And these are 5mm holes, so they'll fit. I don't know if that is actually a 5mm hole. Hold on, these other guys must be the 5mm hole. Yeah, so this will fit easily on like silver silk or leather, or, you know, anything you want to do. They will slide easily on there. These other ones, it says that it has a 5mm hole, but that's not a 5mm hole. That's more of like a 2mm hole, because this is a 3mm and it won't fit. So small misprint. This is more of a 2mm hole, but you can use it on 2mm leather or cord. So definitely a thing. And it's just full of metal. I'll just be digging in there for all the metal. And then we've got 2 more items in each of these colorways. And they are 10 grams of these 4-petal bead caps. They're a 6mm bead cap. And this is in the silver. They like to go face the wrong direction, but I'm going to turn a few of those over so that you can see them better. And then we have the same again in the antique bronze. Again, flipped a few over so that you can see them. Okay, and these ones are so small that I'm going to keep them in their little bag. In fact, I'm going to, oh no, that's perfect. They're gonna go in here. They're gonna go in here because they can. So I had room here with the toggle clasps. I'm gonna do the bead caps next to them here in this spot, and then we'll put the chain in. One of them will share with the caps and one of them will share with the clasps, and then it won't be too snuggy tight because we get 3 meters of Rollo chain in the bright silver and in the antique bronze. So just super useful. I love Rollo chain. I like the shape of it, and I like how easy it is to use. It's like go-to extender chain. So I'm going to put some in here for the antique bronze. And then this one will fit perfectly my little silver toned. And I'm gonna try to get this. I might need to zoom out just a tiny bit more than I already am. Whoop, that's the wrong way, Jen. You can see a little bit of the detritus of unpacking, but you can see everything right here. I was going to be doing a make at the end of this, but I think just because this is already a little bit long, I'm not going to make one immediately. If I did, it would be something simple with earrings, and I'd like to put a little bit more thought into my design for this. So just kind of look for something from me soon from this collection, because I think that they're beautiful. I'm gonna just weigh this down so we have less glare. That one can stay up. But I think this is a lot of fun. I think that this was the right solution to get both colorways and all the metals into these 2 containers. 2 of these would have been too much. 2 of these would have been not enough, but the combination is perfect. So I hope that you enjoyed this. Let me know if you got the GGC treasure bags, or if you haven't and you're interested, check out the link in the description. Like I said, when I recorded this, both of them are still available. Gina made a comment or let us know that she has been creating more treasure bags than she did before. So they're not selling out in a couple of hours anymore. So if you've tried to get a treasure bag before, been unable to do it, she's making it easier for you to be able to get it, whether you can be on at the right time or not. And like I said, as of the recording of this video, both of these collections are still available. Which one do you love best? What are you looking forward to seeing me make out of this? And What do you think about doing a little bit of combining action? I think it could be fun. I think it could be fun. I have ideas for that. I have ideas for that. So, if you liked this video, hit like. If you want to see more, hit subscribe. And like I said, let me know, what do you like most about this collection? Or which one do you like best? Or, you know, did you get it? Are you getting it? Just let me know. Anyway, I hope that you have fun. Happy beading, and don't forget to play. Bye, friends. Okay, so I changed my mind. I did decide to go ahead and design something from this box. I started to put it away and I was like, no, I really should do something. I kind of said, oh, well, I kind of scoffed at making earrings. I'm like, but you know what? I have so many of those cute little heart charms. I knew at least one set of each was going to become earrings, and I thought, why not? Why not make some little fall love earrings? So we've got the heart charm, the faux jade, the cube crystals, our little, come on, focus, our little leaf motif rounds, and then just repeating up the other side, and some ear wires. So I grabbed some eye pins and ear wires, nickel-free ear wires from my stash so that I could make these, and I made one each in the 2 different colors, and I'm just going to make one of each with you. So we'll go through that right now. For tools, I'm using round nose pliers and chain nose pliers. And for cutting the pins, I am using some memory wire cutters, just so that I don't ding up my normal cutters. I believe that at least one of these is stainless steel, but either way, if it's a stronger metal, sometimes it's better to cut using something like this. So these are pretty easy, just a quick little add-on at the end of my video. It's probably going to be the thumbnail for this video, so that I'm not giving away spoilers for the contents of the box in case anybody was choosing to not be spoiled. Like I said, the information's already out there, but that doesn't mean that you guys need to be spoiled. So I'll do a picture of the earrings. So I'm just putting on one of the, I think they called it is imitation jade. So in the 2 different colors, this is that steel blue, and then the faceted cube, and then my leaf bead. And there is a stem side down on this pattern. So if the positioning of that leaf is important to you, that is when you want to take note of it, is to know where it's being oriented on your pin. And then we're just going to repeat that pattern coming back out of it. So we get a little bit of an undulating pattern, which I really like. I like to go small, medium, large. And then because there are some delicate glass crystal in here, I am going to go ahead and use I usually just bend it over with my fingers, but I am going to use my my pliers. I need this to be a perpendicular loop. So I'm holding this so that my loop down here doesn't look like a loop, it looks like a straight line. And then I'm taking my pliers here, giving myself just a tiny bit of room next to that bead, and bending it over so that it goes off to the side when this is a straight line. And then I do need to trim off just a little bit of this. It's really only about 2 to 3 millimeters, really just enough that this is poking out the other side, just because I want to get this down to 1 centimeter. These are 40 millimeter eye rings, or eye pins, in case you're wanting to do a similar size loop. But it seems to almost fit these beads perfectly. And then I just pinch that in my round nose pliers. After it's been bent over, it means that when I finish making that loop, it is going to be centered above that pin. So then I'm taking the bottom of my link that I just made, the part of the pin that already existed, and I am putting my heart charm on it. These heart charms do dangle at an angle. So, and it doesn't have a front or back, so I'm putting this one on as it is. But then I need to make sure, if I want my earrings to mirror each other, which I do, and I can do, so I'm gonna do it, I need to make sure that I place my ear wire in a way. So this one, if I want it hanging this way, this is the front of my ear wire. So this one, if I want it hanging that way, so it's opposite. So this is the right direction. Then this is also the front of my ear wire. So, and you might be doing it the back of your ear wire, the front of your ear wire, depending on how you formed your loop in relation to your dangle and what's easiest for you to open that loop. But the point is to make sure that they'll mirror each other. And I might wear them like this so that they both angle in, or they might both angle out, but they are, and they'll turn a little bit as you wear them, but their resting state is going to be mirrored like this. So those are my silver ones for the cool tones. The seasonal tones cool collection. And then I'm just going to repeat that again, but with the warm tone beads. So you'll see the repetition of how I made the earring if you wanted to recreate it. So again, using the imitation jade, the crystal cube, the leaf with the stem side down, cube, a little bit of fall love going on with these earrings. And then I'm doing the same thing where I am making sure that my loop is straight on to me. And then taking this, giving me a tiny bit of room above that bead so that I don't key wrench things. And it keeps wanting to twist. There we go. And just bending that over. Now that may have twisted a little bit. You can always check and adjust the orientation of your loops by placing them between two pliers and rotating into the correct position. And again, I'm going to cut off a similar amount where it's just barely getting to the edge of that so that I can have the same size loop as I did on the first one, which happens to match what I did on the silver. So this way, these guys will match just fine. And I am opening this bottom loop, putting my heart on, a repeat of what I just did, but with the cooler tones. And then this is the way that this one opens. This is opposite. Again, I'm making sure, okay, if this is the front of the earring, then it hangs this way. And if I'm opening it on this side, see, that's the same. That means that the way that I'm holding it, I want the back side of the earring. This is the opposite of what I did before, just because of the orientation of those loops. So I'm actually glad that I'm doing this again so you can see how we do that differently. This would be the front of my earring, but since I want it actually to face the other way, I put it on so the back of my earring is to the front, but I'm right-handed, so it's easier for me to open and close my loops this direction. So then when I rotate this earring so that it has the front facing out, then I get that mirrored experience that I did with the cool earrings as well. So that is my little design on the fly, because I couldn't put this away without making a little something. And I thought that these were really sweet. Had a little bit of the fall vibe with those leaf motif beads. And of course, we have plenty, very generous, on our heart charms. So they were easy to include in this design. You could, if you wanted to, make one of each and have them wear them as like a little bit mismatched earrings. Or you can combine the different colors and metal tones. You can swap them around if you want. There's a lot of different ways to do that. So for real this time, if you liked this video, hit like. If you want to see more, subscribe. I'm trying to get these laid out because I'm going to have to take a picture anyway when I finish recording. And I'm just, one of those got twisted. Come on, go the right way. I know you know how, because I know I did not make you. There we go. Now they're facing opposite directions. Sorry, tiny bit more fiddling at the end of the video. It's typical, unfortunately. All right. It looks like they're not facing the right way. There we go. I want my ear wires to show so that, you know, the ear wires are going the same way, but the hearts are going the opposite. That's what that needed to do. But I hope you liked this. An extra 10 minutes, a little bit of shenanigans, and a couple of cute pairs of earrings. So like, subscribe, and again, let me know what you loved about that box. What are you looking forward to? What did you get? What are you looking forward to getting if you decided to go ahead and snag yourself a treasure bag? All the links are going to be in the description. Have a fantastic weekend. Happy beading, and don't forget to play. Bye, friends.